Hi guys, it's Lisa Unger, and I'm back with another episode. I love saying that because it feels like I have a real show of three good things. So everybody knows that I started recording these interviews with my author pals during the pandemic to sort of counteract all the crazy negativity that we were all dealing with, and also to connect with my friends who, people who know me, who really know that I'm an extreme introvert, but maybe not as much of an introvert as I thought because I miss my friends. And so this was a way to kind of like connect readers with my favorite authors and talk to my author pals and hang out. And so it's become international. I've had authors from Australia and the UK. And today I am super excited because I have two of my favorite people on, Candace and Alsace from one of our local area amazing independent stores, Tombolo Books. It's a beautiful, beautiful store in St. Pete. And some of you guys who are like, my mystery pals, you may have already met them at BoucherCon because they were there when
Yes.
we had our huge mystery conference. So Alsace and Candace, thank you for joining me for Three Good Things.
Thank you so much for Lisa for having us. This is really fun. You invited us at the very beginning of the pandemic, and we were just like tearing our hair out trying to get books to everyone. We couldn't do it. So I'm so happy to finally be able to join you.
Oh, but you guys did so many amazing things. So the store just opened in, I guess it was November, right? November of 2019. Is that right?
December
Or
14th.
December 14th of 2019. So, and then everything was going so great. And then all of a sudden, plot twist, global pandemic, wow. But you guys completely pivoted in such a huge way. So can you talk a little bit about that? How you kind of weathered this crazy, crazy moment in time for book selling?
Sure. So we fortunately had a really kind of high-end website up and running before the pandemic hit. And as soon as it hit, people just kept ordering books online. And since we couldn't allow people inside the store, we shifted to curbside pickup and we shifted to bicycle delivery. And so we were just working our butts off, traveling all over town after packaging orders all day. And we just recently made this T-shirt. I don't know if you can
Oh, that's
see.
bicycle
delivery.
Oh, I love that. I'm gonna get one at my private shopping appointment tomorrow, which they're also doing right now at Tomla Books. It sounds so fancy. You get to go in and do all your Christmas shopping and pick out your books. So that's another one of the things that you've been doing is just having these like kind of, as things kind of opened up a little bit more, having these like appointments that you can make and go in and shop. And how has that been working out? Have people been really enjoying that?
It's been good. We've started, we did the full sales floor shutdown, and then we've been incrementally kind of keeping our finger in the air and seeing how things are going. And we've sort of phased back into opening our sales floor. So at this point, we're, I like to think of us like a desirable cafe. Reservations recommended.
Yes.
We're accepting walk-ins. But up to a limited capacity to keep everyone safe and keep wearing masks. But going back to the pivot though, I really feel like the advantage that we had, if you could frame it that way, is that we still had our pop-up bookstore DNA.
Yeah.
So, we'd only been open 3 months, and I think we hadn't really settled into a groove yet. So it feels like our bookstore is still just, accelerating and evolving, and we never really had relaxed.
So, right. And honestly, like, I think that was such and Alsace and I have talked about this before. I thought that was such a brilliant model for opening a bookstore that you guys spent like 2 or 3 years in the community, establishing yourself as booksellers. And, you came to a bunch of my events and sold, you had your pop-up locations. And of course, the website is a huge part, I think, of any business now. Like it's just a must-have, I think, especially in this moment. And so you guys really did, like you said, have the DNA to kind of weather the storm in the way that like somebody who was not as nimble might not have been able to do. So, cheers to you guys.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hello.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. And it's great. And it's a great community. And, I love being a part of it. And I love that you guys are, such an important part of the community now as well. So, onward and forward into 2021.
Whatever the future holds.
Whatever that may be. So anyway, we're here to talk about books. So one of the things that I've been talking about on Three Good Things a lot is that, now's the moment, right? It's the beginning of December. You're never going to hear me slagging about the big guys. They have their place. They employ a lot of people, but those guys, they're going to be okay. It's the small businesses that we need to support right now, because we love what they do for our community. So my thing right now is just shop for Christmas if you can. Shop early, shop local, shop small. And, bookstores are a great place to start. What a perfect gift. So I think we're going to talk about some of your favorite books this year. And I'm going to talk about a couple of mine, not just my favorites, but also because of one of the sort of joyful things about my job is that I get a lot of books so I've read a lot of books that are going to be publishing in 2021. So I'm going to mention a few of those. And let's just get to it. So tell me, you guys, like, what are you like, I don't know, what are people asking for? Or what are you like really hand selling right now as the holidays approach?
So, I wanted to talk about cookbooks for a second, because I know that for your Three Good Things, you've talked about what we're eating. That's and for Thanksgiving, one of the best things that I ate was a tahini roasted cauliflower dish that a friend made. I couldn't identify the flavors when I first tasted it. It was so good, but it turns out that it came out of this brand new, really exciting cookbook.
Oh, that looks amazing.
Have you heard of this? The Milk Street cookbook. Had you heard, Lisa, of America's Test Kitchen?
Yes.
This is the guy, Chris Kimball from America's Test Kitchen. This is his new project, is Milk Street. And it's, you can see it's huge and it's full color, just beautiful.
That's so nice. I love it. I love a nice cookbook. I know it's like sort of a lot of people to get their stuff online, but there's something just so special about a really gorgeous cookbook.
Yeah, I do the same too. I look at recipes online, but paging through a cookbook and especially one with gorgeous photos just gets all the ideas going.
Yeah, and that's such a perfect gift for the cook in your life, right? And also I would just mention the St. Pete Eats book as well.
Yes.
I had Deputy Mayor Tomlin on earlier this year, and she talked about some of the great restaurants that we have in St. Pete, and that's such a great book too, because it really kind of extracts some of the some of those recipes that you think I could never make this, and it's completely you're able to do it, and it's also some of them like healthier versions of the stuff that you might get in the store that's or in the restaurant that's maybe not quite as healthy.
Right. And fortunately, they are reprinting that cookbook. So we're going to have it in time before Christmas. Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's a great one. That's a great gift, especially for, locals as well, locals.
It's a perfect gift.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And cookbooks make such nice gifts because like we were all confessing, we tend to get recipes online right now when you're in a hurry.
Yeah.
I think of cookbooks as one of those things we don't always want to buy ourselves.
Exactly.
But you always appreciate to receive, because nowadays they're a work of art in addition to being creative and inspiring. So I will be giving out quite a few cookbooks this year if you're watching.
Yeah. I think it's also it's such a great place if you are a cook and you love to cook. Even if you are that, you tend to especially these days when everybody's cooking so much, you kind of get into a rut.
Absolutely.
And you don't do as much creative cooking as you would like to. And so you can always I find when you have a really beautiful cookbook and it has a theme or it has just a bunch of, sort of creative recipes, it's inspiring.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really just, and that's inspiration is a great gift.
Yeah.
So there's just one more cookbook I have to show you.
Ooh,
It's
yeah.
the Barefoot Contessa. It's her newest one, and it's comfort food. And this is just another perfect cook. This is probably our best-selling cookbook right now.
Yeah.
So
Okay, I think I need both of those tomorrow when I come in. So why do I feel like this is going to be like my
right. This is your pre-shopping.
pre-shopping?
Yes.
Your turn.
All right. Well,
Candace, I wanted to mention too, so yesterday, it hasn't aired yet, but yesterday I interviewed Peter James, who is he's a #1 Sunday Times bestseller in the UK. And he's a fantastic writer, and he, as part of his research, I mean, obviously prior to the pandemic, he's basically traveled all over the world and visited with the different police departments. And so behind him in his office, he has a different hat from every police department that he's visited and done.
Oh my gosh.
But it made me think of your Crime Travel book club, because
Yes.
he's saying like how much he has learned about other cultures from just traveling and hanging out with the police and getting to know them. And so it made me think about I think he's a perfect candidate for your Crime Travel book club at some point.
Nice segue.
Yes.
So I just brought in a few things that I'm reading right now.
Yeah.
And one of them is, and I'm now suddenly in several book clubs. And so Lisa helped us launch our Crime Travel book club, which the thesis of is that we're going to read books of crime fiction written by authors from international authors. And Lisa kicked us off, and I'm sure we'll be coming back to renew our passports occasionally with her and other US authors, but we're going to try and explore other cultures through what motivates them to do these crimes and solve them and what they're eating in between. So right now we're reading a Polish author.
Oh.
Mrs. Moore Goes Missing. And this is actually, it was blurbed by Olga I got to learn Polish, guys. The Nobel laureate from a couple of years ago, Olga Tokarczuk. Okay. And but it's a 19th century mystery. So it's giving me these Agatha Christie vibes, Sherlock Holmes vibes, kind of some old fashioned, it's a crime in a convent. But we're learning, about the socialite culture in Poland, and I'm learning to pronounce new words. And it's been pretty fun. It's a digression from the psychological thriller of Lisa Unger. So we're already feeling some culture shock. But I'm really enjoying it. It's fun, and so I'm reading that right now.
Okay, that's great. I love it.
Yeah, and then also I want to recommend. I think this is a great gift this year that I'm recommending to a lot of people. The New York Times collected short stories from premier authors writing about their experience of the pandemic. Or inspired by the pandemic, I should say, not writing about their personal experience. These are all works of fiction.
Yeah.
And it's called the Decameron Project.
Oh, wow.
And
explain that title.
The Decameron is a book that was written in the 14th century during the bubonic plague. And a writer sat down and he wrote, I believe it's a novel, during the plague and influenced by that experience. And so they took that title and they got 29 short stories, and it's everyone from Tommy Orange. The Victor Laval story just ripped me open. It was so beautiful. Margaret Atwood has a hilarious imagination of aliens from outer space coming down and visiting us during the pandemic.
She's so amazing.
There are some very sweet and simple stories in here that don't immediately connect to the pandemic experience, but they just, you can
happen to have been written during that moment.
Yeah. And so it's not a heavy-handed collection. I don't think I would hand this to anyone, and I don't think it's going to drag them down into the doldrums of 2020. It really makes you feel less alone. And it's a beautiful little book. So
that's great. I love that.
I encourage.
Three of our 7 booksellers are just raving about that one right now.
Yeah, it is.
I guess put it on my pile.
Yeah, it's on the. How tall is your pile these days, Lisa?
It's going to be tall. I know that for a fact. That I don't ever walk in there without without a big pile of books, as it should be,
Yeah.
as it should be.
Absolutely.
I'll just, so I might just mention a couple of, so I read, pretty much constantly, like just nonstop reading, like sort of wildly across genre and, fiction, nonfiction, it's just part of who I am. But I just wanted to mention a couple of favorite books for me this year. And it's really kind of hard to do it because I have so many super talented, amazing friends. So I never want to leave anybody out, but I just wanted to mention a couple of people who I really loved. And one of them was Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillier, which is a really interesting story of it's on the surface, it's kind of about a missing boy, but it really isn't about a missing boy. It's really about a marriage and a friendship and, sort of the lies we tell each other and tell ourselves and all those good things that I love. And Jennifer's just a really terrific writer. She has her earlier book, Jar of Hearts, was something that I discussed on the Crime by the Book Club, which is an online book club. And Jennifer Hillier is just a really super talented writer. And I also have had the pleasure of reading a couple of books that are not out yet and that I think are a great option for pre-order. And I wish, so once upon a time, I used to have a big stack of galleys. That was like how it went. But now everything is coming to me via email, which is both super stressful and not as visually exciting because the tactile experience of picking up the book. But I just have so I don't have anything to hold up. I don't have covers or anything to hold up. So that's the kind of difficult part. But I'll just talk about a couple of them. The Stranger Behind You by Carol Goodman. Carol is just she's just her breakout book was the Lake of Dead Languages. And she is just a tremendous writer. And her upcoming book, The Stranger Behind You, is just she usually writes about sort of small towns, but this one is more like sort of urban and, super smart and slick and twisty and just a really sort of, like a Me Too moment, like a post Me Too moment in this book. Very, very thoughtful. And then Never Far Away by Michael Kurita. Michael Kurita has a local connection for us, and he's just such an amazing writer. He really is one of my favorites. And his new book coming up in 2021 is really, really great. And I just finished. I do have a galley of Beth. I just finished Her Dark Lies by J.T. Ellison. She's tremendous thriller writer, and this is just pure thriller, an island off the coast of Italy, the wedding of the year, a bride and a groom both hiding major secrets from each other. I mean, what could go wrong? Right? It's just elegant and super twisty, and I just really loved it. So those are all for pre-order.
Excellent.
That reminds me, one recommendation I picked up from you on your Insta was Poppy Gee, Vanishing Falls.
Yeah, isn't she?
Yeah, I read that about a month ago, and she's Australian, right?
Yeah, she is.
Or Tasmania,
she's in Tasmania. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not right. She's in Brisbane.
Okay.
She's in Brisbane. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was fun. We might not need to pull that back for Crime Travel because that was a great book.
And you know what? I bet she would. I bet she'd zoom in for it. She's really lovely and such a good writer and just a fun person to talk to as well.
Yeah. But that was layered. Yeah.
Yeah, very. And
Yeah.
smart. It kind I mean, I really loved the way the main character had, I mean, obviously she had all this trauma, but how it altered her perception of things, and how you
Yes.
kind of wound up in her head, and seeing things the way she was seeing, which another character would not have seen it the same way. And I thought that was
Yeah.
a really masterful turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I tell you about a really dark novel that I just finished?
Oh yes, please do.
Here it is.
Huh.
It's called The Bitch.
The Bitch. I like it already.
Oh my gosh. And it's
I
right.
think you would love it, Lisa.
I bet okay, put it on the pile.
Right now, I am all about escapism. And this book is very, very short, and the font is very large.
I love that.
Big margins.
That.
And I was able to read it in 2 days or something, which made me feel very accomplished because life is too busy right now.
Yes.
But this is like a cinematic, gothic, dark novel about a woman who, she and her husband, it's set in Colombia.
It's in translation.
It's a book in translation.
Okay.
In fact, it was shortlisted for a finalist for the National Book Award for books in translation just recently.
Fantastic.
And it's about a woman who, her relationship with her husband has fallen apart because they cannot have children, but she adopts this dog and has this incredibly intense relationship with a dog that she brings into the house, whereas her husband owns several dogs that are pets and they have to stay outside because that's his culture.
Right.
But she's grown very attached because this dog is sort of replacing the fact that they can't have kids, and her marriage has fallen apart even though they're still together. And I'm not going to tell you anymore, except that the jungle feels like a character in the book.
Oh.
And the ending is very powerful and cinematic and gothic. And and we have an event with the author, Pilar, a virtual event next Wednesday. And the translator's going to join us also. So it's going to be really fun to bring in these Colombian voices to St. Pete.
Oh, that's great. Yep. Put it on the pile, please.
Put it on the pile. What else?
So what else do you guys have? What else do you guys have going on that you want to share with, because this is going to be our 3 good things. We started with the cookbook. Is there, and so you told me what's transporting you right now. You have some more books on there, but I'm also kind of interested in, maybe if you guys want to answer this, like, do either of you have a book that you kind of return to again and again, like just for comfort, like something that you pick up and you just like need a little bit of inspiration, or this just something that's beloved to you that, like, no matter how many times you open it, or where you open it, you just kind of like, oh, I love that so much. Is there anything like that for either of you?
This one.
A little.
Let's have it. It could be anything.
All right. Yeah. I have done, when I need to feel like good will triumph, I do go back to Tolkien and the Trilogy of the Ring.
Yes.
And I don't always read them all the way through, but sometimes if I just, I know what passages I'm looking for, I know what moments of hope I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And so I take a long hot bath in the Tolkien trilogy.
I love that. I love that.
I do. And actually, was it like the week of the election? I went and watched all 3 movies. I just binged them. I was
if ever there's a week that you needed like Lord of the Rings, that was it.
It did. I was like, you can do it at dawn on the 3rd day. And then also when I'm trying to get back to, I don't know if these are relaxation things, but just when I'm trying to get back to, I want to abandon cynicism, I go to poetry. Sometimes I crack open some of the things I used to love in college. Adrienne Rich. I've been thinking about her a lot lately. There's a new biography. She's finally getting a little more attention. Lucille Clifton. So I just like to kind of reconnect with, my younger idealistic days, and that helps me. That takes me there. There's a purity to it that I still can get into.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I don't think I do that.
She's not a big rereader.
No, I like to just keep moving forward. There's so much out there,
Yeah.
It's so exciting to discover new things. I don't think I.
You don't ever go back. I do.
No,
I go back. I go back to a bunch of things. Like I go back to, I mean, one of my, my all-time favorite books ever is Jane Eyre. And I feel like whenever I open that, like it just no matter where, like I don't necessarily go back to read it linearly, but like I have a few books that I'll just open when I'm really like sort of looking for, I don't know what, like something, right? Like you want to like bathe yourself in words, or like Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott, like as a writer, like that book is a touchstone. I feel like it's one of those books like the I Ching, like you open it and whatever you went there for, it's there.
Right.
Yeah.
Wherever you open it. And so that's another one. And I actually am just revisiting now something I'm like an evangelist for this book, and it's been a long time since I've revisited it. It's The Artist's Way. Cameron, which is just, it really is like the seminal work on creativity, and it's just like this class that you can take anytime you need to reconnect with that inner artist. I mean, you just open the book and start doing the exercises and start doing the morning pages and start doing the artist date, which is like harder now than usual, but there's so many interesting things you can do online. But it's just like this really powerful reconnection to the creative self. And I think a perfect thing to do if you're like locked in and like trying, not necessarily, if you don't necessarily need to be a writer to tap into that that creative spirit. It enriches your life in 1,000 different ways. So it's just like a nice thing to do for yourself. It's like, I think it takes like 6 weeks or something like that to really do the course, but it could just be a week. You could just choose a week and like randomly pick different places from.
Yeah.
But that's something that I go back to again and again.
Yeah, that's an excellent one.
Yeah. So what else, you guys, anything else you want to share before we sign off? Anything else you were thinking about for the store, like something you're excited about coming up? Or
we are, you brought it up earlier, we are offering so right now our appointments are for up to 8 people, and what we're encouraging folks to do is get together with some friends, and you can create your own personal shopping party.
Which is what I'm doing tomorrow with my friends.
You kind of referred to that earlier. So that's something we kind of want to let people know. It's you can make appointments through our website, but if you are interested in doing something like that, it's better if you call the store so we can help kind of isolate that time when nobody's already made an appointment. So we have several of those coming up, and we're really excited about that, to get that energy from, having a group of friends in there, sort of doing a takeover. And people, and also if you are coming by the store, either with a group like that or with an appointment, it's been fun when people are letting us know what they're looking for so we can make them a stack. We're having a lot of fun curating holiday shopping for people. Like, I got this 12-year-old nephew, and he's really into Minecraft, and we're trying to get something else going. And, my aunt just has read, everything by, Michael Connolly, but I got to get her onto some other mysteries, and so we're just we're having fun helping people shop.
That's great.
And we're doing free gift wrap, which all of our booksellers are buying for the gift wrap crown. So we've got a lot of ribbon curling going on these days, and calligraphy and whatnot. So that's been fun to watch everyone get into the spirit. So
that's fun. Yeah, I'm super looking forward to doing that. And I think it really does have this kind of fun, because there really aren't, there aren't going to be a lot of parties and opportunities to gather and get together. And, shopping for the holiday during this moment is very challenging. So I was very excited when you guys sent the email to invite my friends And in my
Yeah.
case, also some people who've been wanting books signed, and I've been like, okay,
Yes.
I'll meet you. But now I'm just going to meet you here at the store. And, and I think, it's just like very exciting to have that event. Like it's a little bit
Yeah.
of a party. It's a little bit of like a shopping event. You know, you can feel like, okay, I
Yeah.
have this on my calendar, and I can get a bunch of my shopping done while I'm, also connecting with my friends. I think it's a really great, it was another brilliant idea from the brilliant women of Tom Below Books.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome. Well, it's great hanging out with you guys, and I'm so thrilled to be able to share you with my reader pals, and I hope you guys will support Tom Below, and if not Tom Below, then your local shop. Gift cards are always a great gift, because you can't always know what somebody's going to want, but if you have a reader in your life and you know that they're always buying books, I guarantee you that a gift card to Tom Below Books is going to be the perfect gift, no matter where they are. So,
Thank you, Lisa.
Right?
That's
Thanks,
right.
guys. So you're gonna make my stack for me.
We're gonna make your stack.
Yeah.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
I will see you tomorrow at 4.
Thanks. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.